Are you over 60? So what I will reveal to you now can literally save your life. Imagine the following scene. A seemingly healthy 70-year-old man goes to sleep like any other night. Nothing out of the ordinary. No complaint, no warning sign. But at dawn, he just didn't wake up. A deadly silence took over the room, and what seemed to be just another night's sleep turned into tragedy. Now stop and think. Are you making the same mistakes he made? If you have more than 60 or take care of someone in this age group, this message is urgent. What I will reveal here are 5 dangerous habits that, although they seem harmless, can dramatically increase the risk of death during sleep in the elderly. And the worst? Most people repeat these behaviors every night, not knowing that they are putting their lives at risk. We are not talking about rare diseases or conditions impossible to control. We are talking about daily, simple, and often unconscious choices that directly affect the heart, breathing, the brain, and which silently undermine health to the point of non-return. This is no exaggeration. This is reality. Silent death during sleep in the elderly is becoming increasingly common, and in many cases it could have been avoided. Did you know, for example, that eating late at night can trigger respiratory crises while you sleep? That sleeping in certain positions can compress the chest and hinder the oxygenation of the body? What seemingly harmless remedies, such as soothing and muscle relaxants, can slow down breath to hazardous levels? And the frightening, you may be doing it all thinking you are helping to relax before bed. But the truth is that after age 70, the body no longer works the same way. Metabolism is slower, the heart requires more care, and any interference in the night routine can be fatal. What was safe at 30, at 40, can turn into a silent trap after 60. And if you think it doesn't apply to you, think better. Do you wake up tired, with the feeling that sleep was not a repairing? Have you ever had episodes of shortness of breath at night, or heavy sensation in your chest when you lie down? These are signs that cannot be ignored. And if you know someone at this age who lives by saying, "I'm tired all the time," or who takes that little script to fall asleep faster, it is essential that this person also hears what I'm about to reveal. Because today, I will open the eyes of those who think bed and sleep is always safe. From now on, let's expose the 5 nocturnal habits that may be sabotaging your health and even taking you to a path without return. And before you follow, you already commented below. Have you or someone in your family had problems to sleep after 60? Sleep well? Or do you feel that something is wrong and you don't know what it is? This kind of conversation may seem uncomfortable, but that's exactly why we need to have her now. Because when it comes to health after 70, ignoring small signs is a risk you can no longer take, especially at night when the body is more vulnerable and the effects of bad habits intensify. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes you will find out what you never should do before you sleep, especially if you have over 60 or 70. And in the end, you will realize that some simple changes can give you more safety, more quality of life, and more time with the people you love. But let's go straight to the point. The first habit is one of the most common and most dangerous among the elderly, and you may be doing this today. By the way, before continuing, let me ask you something important. Comment down here if you or someone in your family had difficulty sleeping after 60 years. Your comment can help other people identify themselves, and more than that, can make room for a conversation that saves lives. Yes, we are talking about life or death, and your experience, however small, may be exactly the warning someone needs. And look, if this content is making sense to you, don't forget to leave your like right now. This helps YouTube understand that this is an important theme and makes more people get this video. And let's be honest, how many men over 60 or 70 are there repeating these same habits without having the slightest idea of the risks they are running? Subscribe to the channel too and activates Tinker, because here I bring videos every week with practical and direct information about male health, especially focused on prostate, sleep, longevity, and quality of life in the elderly. No whining, just what really matters for those who want to grow old with vitality and security. You who arrived here has already taken a very important step, seeking information before the problem beat at the door. A lot of people only care when evil is already done, but you don't. You are anticipating, and that makes all the difference. Understanding the content of this video can literally help you avoid a silent tragedy. Now that you have understood the seriousness of the subject and why it is so urgent, let's go straight to what matters. What are these nocturnal habits that seem harmless, but hide a real risk of death for those over 70? The first of these is the most common of all. It is present in the routine of millions of Brazilians, and perhaps it is yours too today. And this is where it all starts to withdraw. After 60, the body changes, and it changes a lot. What once seemed simple, automatic, without consequences, can now become a dangerous trigger for serious health problems. Breathing is no longer the same. The heart needs more care. Blood circulation requires attention. Even sleep, which should be a moment of rest and recovery, can hide dangerous traps. Many men think they are only tired of age, but the truth is that they are ignoring signs of the body that come to accumulate day after day. And what makes everything even more worrying is that most don't even notice. They go to sleep thinking they will have a good night's sleep and wake up. That's when they wake up, with a sense of exhaustion, chest tightness, dizziness, or just wake up anymore. What few people say, and almost no one likes to admit, is that thousands of elderly people die every year. Silently, tragic, no warning, without pain, some say. But what really matters is, many of these cases could have been avoided with minor changes in habits, especially at night. That's why what we're talking about here is so serious. This is not alarmism, it's careful. It is consciousness. It is responsibility with life itself. Think to me, how many men over 60 or 70 years are still repeating the same behaviors as they had 30? They eat what they want, when they want it. They go to sleep right after dinner. They take medicine on their own. Mix drink with muscle relaxant. They sleep on my stomach thinking it's more comfortable. They leave the television on, the light on, the cell phone vibrating at the headboard. They think this is normal, it's okay, but they are actually creating the perfect environment for a silent accident to happen. And the biggest problem is not just that. It's just that no one is talking directly to these men. No one is looking into their eyes and saying, "You need to pay attention now." Most content on senior health is full of technical, cold, distant terms. But here the conversation is straightforward. No whining, the way you deserve to hear, because the risk is real. And from 70, sleep can become a risk zone if you don't know what you are doing before bedtime. Did you know, for example, that a heavy meal at dinner can leave your digestive system overloaded and directly interfere with the rhythm of the heart while you sleep? Not to mention the possibility of acid reflux, which can invade the airways and cause suffocation during sleep. This is more common than you think, especially in men with a history of heartburn, poor digestion, or hiatus hernia. The body is already slower. The stomach takes more time to process. The diaphragm has less strength. And all of this together can become a time bomb while you sleep deeply, not realizing anything at all. Another very serious issue is the use of medicines that many seniors take on their own. That half dose of diazepam, or that leftover muscle relaxant from the last recipe. That tablet to turn off faster because the day was stressful. This may seem innocent, but in the elderly, metabolism gets slower, and the effects of medicines extend, accumulate, and what was supposed to last 2 hours can act for 6 or more. This may decrease the respiratory rate too much, cause apnea, or in more extreme cases cause respiratory stop during sleep. Not to mention the drug interactions. When a tablet conflicts with another that you already take, pressure, cholesterol, prostate, sleep, and the body, already fragile, cannot deal with everything at the same time. And don't stop there. Something as simple as the position you sleep may be sabotaging your health. Sleeping on your stomach, for example, may seem comfortable, but at this age, this position can compress the chest, make breathing difficult, and decrease oxygen flow to the brain and heart. In young people, this almost never causes problem, but after 60, and especially after 70, pulmonary capacity is already reduced, the less flexible rib cage, and the risk increases considerably. Now imagine if this position comes with a heavy dinner, a soothing, and a television connected to Ciara. It's like placing the body in a trap. And speaking of television, this is another villain disguised as a friend. A lot of people sleep with the TV on to have company or to relax, but artificial light profoundly hinders melatonin production, which is the hormone responsible for sleep regulation. Without enough melatonin, the body does not enter the deep phases of sleep, those that really restore the body. You sleep, but don't rest. What's more, constant light and sound oscillation can cause microdystreres, which increase stress, raise blood pressure, and prevent the body from entering a state of repair. That is, you wake up more tired than it went to sleep, and this repeated day after day compromises your immune system, your mood, your energy, and yes, it can lead you to collapse without you realizing it. These are just some of the hidden problems that surround the sleep time after 60. And it's precisely these details, these little habits, which make the difference between a safe night and a dangerous night. Because when it comes to health in old age, there is no more room for neglect. Each choice matters. Each behavior counts. And you need to start seeing it now. No tomorrow. Not when symptoms appear. Now. You may be wondering, but I always did it and nothing has never happened. It is exactly this false sense of security that makes everything even more risky. It's like driving a car with worn brake thinking it will still hold. Until the day you no longer hold. The body does not warn in advance. He just fore. And when you realize, it's often too late. So stop and reflect right now. How is your routine before bed? What do you eat? What medicines do you take? How do you lie down? What is connected to your room? Do you really feel rested when you wake or get up with the feeling that something is wrong? These questions are not rhetorical. They are starting points for change, and that's the way I want you to go with me from this video. But calm down. You don't have to feel guilty. The goal here is not to judge, it is to alert. And more than that, it is to show that with small changes, with simple attitudes, it is possible to reverse this scenario and turn your nights into really safe and restorative times. And don't think it's complicated. It is not. What you need is information, clarity, and a dose of disposition to adjust some habits. Now, before we go to the first habit that needs to get out of your routine today, I want to make you an important request. If you have gotten here, it is because this subject touches something you feel, and that's good. It is a sign of conscience, maturity, responsibility for life itself. Then, do the following. Leave your comment below. Tell me how your sleep is today. Tell me if you already had any fright at night. Or simply write, "I need to improve it" in the comments. This simple phrase can help you make a commitment to yourself. And besides, it will make more people find this video. YouTube understands that this is relevant content when you see that people are interacting. And now the time has come that you may completely change the way you face your night's sleep. From here, let's dive into the 5 habits that you need to avoid urgently before bed, especially if it has been over 60, and even more if it has completed or is reaching 70. These are practices that many consider normal, ordinary, unimportant, but they can be true traps for male health in the elderly, causing bad nights to episodes of apnea, pressure peaks, breathing crises, or even a silent cardiac arrest while you sleep. And make no mistake thinking that this only happens to those who already have a diagnosis of some serious illness. Quite the contrary. Most cases of sudden death during sleep in the elderly happen to people who still felt good, seemingly healthy, but who did not pay attention to the small signs and nor the bad habits they cultivated at the end of the day. Therefore, he hears carefully and is already self-assessing while following this content. Let's start by talking about nightly food. Perhaps this is one of the most common mistakes made by elderly men. After a tiring day, many still keep the habit of making a reinforced dinner: rice, beans, meat, frying, bread, cheese, soda. Then they throw themselves on the couch, watch TV, and soon they are already snoring. It sounds comfortable, but inside, your body is struggling to process it all. And here's the danger. When you eat heavy or greasy foods at night, your digestive system needs to work harder, just as you should be slowing down. This generates an accumulation of acids in the stomach, favors the luxury, and can cause microaspirations while you sleep, i.e., small portions of gastric acid that rises through the esophagus and enter the airways. This can cause coughs, shortness of breath, and, in more severe cases, sudden interruption of breathing during sleep. In addition, this type of meal interferes with the heart rate. The heart needs to pump more blood to the digestive system, and in people over 60, this may be sufficient to trigger night arrhythmias, especially if there is high blood pressure history, high cholesterol, or use of cardiac medication. The body should be at rest, but instead it is in a state of digestive alert. And the result of that? Wake up tired with a heavy sensation in the chest, or until you wake up anymore. Now imagine aggravating this with the second dangerous habit: using sedative remedies without medical advice. And here, I'm not just talking about the black stripes. Many men use drugs that help sleep, such as muscle, herbal, or antihistamine relaxants with sedative effect. The problem is that after 60, the body metabolizes these substances more slowly, which means that the effect lasts longer and can intensify, accumulating in the body. This reduces central nervous system activity, including the part that runs breathing and heartbeat. The result? Respiratory rate decreases, blood oxygen level drops, and the risk of central sleep or respiratory arrest increases dramatically. And it's no use thinking that a small dose doesn't hurt. What looks like half dose to a young adult can be exaggerated to an elderly, especially if you are taking other medicines for hypertension, diabetes, prostate, or anxiety. The interaction between medicines can be silent and fatal. A simple calculation error can be the difference between sleeping and never wakes up. And the worst is that this all happens without pain, no noise, no warning sign. The person simply does not wake up. Now let's talk about another villain that many use as an excuse to relax at the end of the day: alcohol. That glass of wine, the night beer, the whiskey to heat the chest. All this seems innocent, but after age 60, the impact of alcohol on the nervous system is even stronger. The liver no longer metabolizes with the same efficiency. Alcohol circulates longer in the blood and, in addition to causing sudden falls in blood pressure, depresses brain activity. This affects sleep quality, interferes with the REM phase, and dramatically increases the risk of obstructive sleep apnea. What's more, when alcohol is consumed close to bedtime, it causes excessive relaxation of the throat and tongue muscles, which can partially block the airways, especially in people who sleep on top or who already have some degree of snoring or irregular breathing. Result: sleepless nights, sensation of suffocation, sudden awakenings with a rapid heart, cold sweats, and of course, greater risk of serious cardiovascular events. And if all this is lived with the TV on or light on the room, the problem gets worse. A lot of people have a habit of falling asleep watching television or rolling their cell phone in bed, thinking it helps to relax. But the truth is that exposure to artificial light, especially the blue light emitted by screens, inhibits melatonin production, the natural hormone of sleep. Without enough melatonin, the brain cannot enter the deepest phases of sleep, which are essential for physical and mental recovery. The person even sleeps, but sleep is superficial, fragmented, and insufficient to restore the body. In addition, high sounds, light variations, and continuous visual stimuli make the brain remain on alert, even while you sleep. And this directly impacts the cardiovascular system as it increases the level of cortisol, the stress hormone, in the blood. Over time, this type of pattern raises blood pressure, impairs renal function, unbalances metabolism, and worsens the symptoms of existing diseases such as benign prostatic hyperplasia, diabetes, and light heart failure, which are common in men of this age group. Finally, we come to one of the most neglected and dangerous habits: the position in which you sleep. Most men sleep on the side or belly up, but many still insist on sleeping their stomach. This position, however comfortable at first, can be extremely harmful to the elderly. It compresses the chest, limits the expansion of the lungs, and decreases brain oxygenation, especially if there is overweight, light apnea, or history of breathing problems. In addition, this posture also causes twisting in the cervical spine, impairs circulation, and may increase the risk of anthills or pressure on the peripheral nerves, which compromises sleep quality and, in extreme cases, can contribute to even the night microdecies or falls upon waking disoriented. And the most serious is that the junction of two or more of these habits creates an environment conducive to a health crisis during sleep. Imagine heavy dinner, soothing, drinking a glass of wine, laying face down, turning on the TV, and erasing. This seems like a common routine for many, but it is a ready-made recipe for disaster, especially if the person is already over 60 and presenting signs of frequent tiredness, intense snoring, or non-restorative sleep. Now that you know these 5 habits and understand the risks hidden in each of them, I want to invite you to make a sincere self-assessment. How many of these behaviors are part of your routine? How many have seen your father, uncle, grandfather, or husband repeating every night, not even imagining they were putting their health and life at risk? He comments down here, "I did this and I didn't know the danger if any of these habits was part of your daily life." Or writes, I will change my routine from today if you are determined to turn the way you take care of your night health. This will show me that you are committed to your longevity, and even help this video reach other people who need to hear this urgent message. And in the next passage, I will show you what is behind these dangerous habits, what your body is trying to tell you with these silent signs, and how to start reversing all this with simple, practical, and natural attitudes. You will be surprised by the truth behind the most ignored symptoms by men after 60. Stay with me. Now that you have understood the weight and severity of these 5 dangerous habits before bed, you may feel that reality shock. And that's great, because recognizing that there is a risk is the first step in turning it into an opportunity to take more and better care of your health. And if so far you have identified yourself with some of these behaviors, or even with everyone, don't worry, you are not alone. Most men over 60 or 70 are also going through this, repeating attitudes that look simple, but over the years they charge a high price. The important thing now is to know that there are safer, more natural and effective ways to ensure that your body really rests at night, and that sleep is a time of restoration, not risk. Let's talk now about what to do instead of those habits. How to adjust your night routine simply, uncomplicated, without needing drastic changes, but really make a difference in your heart, your breathing, your nervous system, and of course, your prostate. Because yes, all these factors are connected. A body that sleeps badly also suffers from hormonal imbalances, internal inflammation, and a weaker immune system. And all this can make the symptoms of those who already face problems such as benign prostatic hyperplasia, urinary difficulties, erectile dysfunction, or drop in testosterone. And the first most powerful attitude you can adopt today is to rethink your dinner. Eating well doesn't mean eating a lot, let alone eating heavy. After age 60, metabolism naturally slows down, and this requires a lighter and more intelligent night diet. Ideally, the last meal of the day should happen at least 3 hours before you lie down. This gives your digestive system the time required to process food and avoid overloading during sleep. Instead of fatty and condiments, opt for fiber, rich meals, easy to digest foods such as boiled vegetables, grilled chicken or egg chicken, and tryptophan sources such as oats and banana, which help in the natural production of serotonin and melatonin, improving sleep quality. And you see, that doesn't mean giving up the pleasure of eating. Quite the contrary. It is possible to make delicious, nutritious meals that at the same time take care of your body. Many men have a habit of drinking milk with chocolate before bed, not knowing that this can cause fermentations and gases that make breathing difficult during sleep. Changing this for a chamomile tea, for example, can make a huge difference. What seems small, in fact, is a great root adjustment when we look at the long-term impact. The second step is to change the type of stimulus you offer to your brain before bed. As we mentioned earlier, television, cell phone, and artificial lights are silent enemies of sleep quality, but you can replace these negative stimuli with practices that calm the nervous system naturally, such as guided meditation, conscious breathing, or even hear sounds of nature such as rain, wind, or sea. This induces a state of true relaxation and activates the parasympathetic system, responsible for slowing the heartbeat, regulating the RSP, and prepare the body for rest. A lot of people think meditation is a difficult thing or modern youthful thing, but the truth is that just lie in bed, close their eyes, and make a slow and deep breath sequence. Inhale through the nose, hold for a few seconds, and slowly release your mouth. This alone helps to reduce blood pressure, balance stress hormones, and facilitate transition to deep and restorative sleep. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Before long, your brain will associate this routine with true rest, and the body will answer with quieter nights and more invigorating mornings. The third point is to take care of the position you sleep and the quality of your pillow. It sounds like a simple detail, but the posture during sleep is crucial for the health of the spine, breathing, and brain oxygenation. Sleep on your side with a pillow that correctly aligns your head with your neck, and another between your knees is the most recommended position for most men over 60. This position favors breathing, avoids snoring, improves circulation, and still relieves back and lumbar pain, which are common complaints in this age group. In addition, it is important to avoid very high or very low pillows, as both can cause neck tension, shoulder compression, and even morning headache. And if you have reflux or breathing problems, It may be useful to raise the bedside a little, or use a sloping pillow that prevents the return of gastric acid and facilitates breathing at night. This kind of simple adjustment can make a gigantic difference in your night well-being. Another essential habit that many men ignore but should be sacred from the age of 65 is to do regular heart checkups. Do not expect to feel chest pain, shortness of breath, or dizziness to seek help. Preventive medicine exists precisely to identify silent changes in the heart, lungs, or blood oxygenation that, if not treated in time, can result in serious complications, especially at night. A simple electrocardiogram, a spirometry or polysomnography examination, can reveal precious information about the quality of your sleep and the specific needs of your body. And it is no exaggeration to say that the heart of a man over 70 needs constant accompaniment, even if he feels good. This is because many changes happen without obvious symptoms, and the first symptom can be fatal. So if you have not yet put your health at the center of your routine, this is the time to change that. Finally, a detail that a lot of people despise, but has a direct impact on the depth of your sleep: the environment where you sleep. The room needs to be a dark, silent, and well-ventilated space. Darkness stimulates melatonin production and helps the body into the natural cycle of deep sleep. Silence reduces external stimuli and allows the brain to slow down. And fresh air favors breathing, reduces the risk of apneas, and improves circulation. All of this together creates an ideal scenario for the body to recover the way it was projected by nature. If possible, avoid leaving electronic devices in the room, especially with lit lights. Take digital watches, LED chargers, standby TV monitors. Even small sources of light can disrupt the quality of your sleep. If there is external noise, use thick curtains, anti-riot windows, or even ear protectors. What seems freshness is actually strategic care with your long-term health. And now, I want to know about you. Which of these changes do you believe you need to start today? Comment down here with the phrase, "My health starts now," if you understood the importance of these attitudes. Or write, "I need to improve my sleep," if you feel that you still have difficulties but you are willing to look for solutions. Your comments help this video come to more people and show that you are committed to your quality of life. If you have gotten here, my congratulations. You are one of those who really care about their own health and want to make a difference in their lives. And that's exactly why I want to make you a special invitation. You are now subscribed to the channel, because every week has direct content, without curling, with practical tips on male health, prostate care, longevity, and prevention of problems that appear after 60. Now do me a favor, comment down here the phrase, "I take care of my health before bed," so I know you have watched until the end and are committed to this change. And besides, your comment helps this video reach more people who also need to hear this message. Oh, and of course, leave your like right now. If this video has helped you in any way, this is the best way to repay. YouTube understands that this content is important and shows to more men who are going through the same challenges as you. And to close with a golden key, already click on the next video that is appearing here on the screen now. In it, I will show you a detail about the health of the prostate that almost no one comments, and that may be affecting your sleep, energy, and even your sex life. I see you there.